The Grammys, the Grammys, the Grammys. You know, when it comes to hip hop, you know, these inverted commas are deliberate. There's always a controversy with the Grammys. Do your research. Historically, if you understand what the Grammys are about, they are about. Yes, I have to clear my throat just so that I can get the gusto to say what most people don't really want to say. The Grammys are an industry mafia accreditation system. The Grammys are a way that influential people in the music industry affirm the values, and as a result the artists, and as a result the qualities that they reward. The Grammys, even without going to the history of how the music industry is basically originated from crime, white supremacy, the American nationalism plot to dominate the whole world through imperialistic perception translated through popular culture, you know, blase, 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 blah, politics, politics, politics. I hope that by the year 2024, we all understand that the Grammys are not some kind of contest where the artists who deserve to be celebrated are celebrated. Emphasis on deserve. What constitutes a deserving artist? I would say what constitutes a deserving artist is the same things that have constituted a deserving artist from time immemorial. Art seeks to disturb the comfortable and comfort the disturbed. You know, it is said that that's a Banksy quote. I'm not too sure. Do your research. But what I am sure of is that it's on the money. Because it addresses the issue of the role of art, particularly in this context, music. We listen to music as an extension of our lives, and thus music is the soundtrack that embodies what we go through. The most successful music is the music that's able to truly understand the language, the politics, the fashion that addresses what we're going through at the moment. So if you look at the Grammys historically, they haven't really done that. So many of the artists who have been historically pivotal in the history of musical impact are not Grammy winners. Can somebody say Bob Marley? Can somebody say Tupac Shakur? You know what I mean? Just to mention,
Nas.
you know,
Yeah.
recently he got the King's disease, if I remember that.
Yeah, but before that.
Yeah, I know. But you know, there's a whole lot of people who will probably put on the screen. They're everywhere. The majority of significant artists are not Grammy winners. So who are Grammy winners? Here's a theory. The Grammys are the showcase for where capitalist politics assesses the musicians who serve the purpose of proliferating the kind of imagery, marketing, and ultimately ethos that sustains business for white people, for white supremacy, for whiteness. So if you look at every historical forerunner that has won the best so-called hip-hop category, we'll put them here on the screen as well. They have been people whose message, whose intent, whose aesthetic fits neatly into what capitalism wants to do. What does capitalism want to do? Capitalism wants to reduce the anxiety of your life and the thing that you feel. You see that thing? That itch in the back of your neck that tells you that the life you're living is inhumane and is leeching the best parts of yourself out of you, also that you can just grab a paycheck and sacrifice your energy to a greater system which doesn't care about you. You're right about that. And you see that part of you that might suspect that some of these artists that you see on TV are just trying to sell you mindless things that you don't need. You're probably right about that too. And this is who the Grammy rewards. Famously, the Headspace critiqued the formidable influence of Kendrick Lamar. Links in the description. Read a series of episodes focusing on why Kendrick is a false idol. I love Kendrick, but one of the reasons why we needed to do that was to place the scope of our listening of music in the context where we understand the politics of how certain artists are used to keep us docile, dormant, and indebted to capitalism. Kendrick Lamar is one of those artists. His rebellion, his revolution, and his radicality is a brand that fits neatly into capitalism. He's the kind of artist who can wear a Jesus piece, a crown of thorns that is encrusted with diamonds designed by Chanel. He is the kind of artist who can have an anthem that represents the Black Lives Matter movement on the streets.
We gonna be alright.
Okay? And still, in the same breath, do a Louis Vuitton show. And not try to explain the contradiction of that politics. Because if you know anything about black radical politics, it seeks to undermine the power of the white capitalist system. Kendrick doesn't do that. Kendrick uses the aesthetics of black radical tradition to sell a product, the product of hope. Now enter Killer Mike, the latest installment of this Black Hope project, sold successfully to struggling people, oppressed people. An exquisite album, decorating itself with all of the blues, the jazz, the somber, ebony moments that are sunken into a place that feels commercially vibrant. I mean, this is a project where you can have the juxtaposition of Dave Chappelle and Future in one single breath. Young Thug, LP, Ty Dolla $ign. It is the kind of project that epitomizes what has been done by certain artists from time immemorial, really, who understand that to pander to the struggle, if you are manipulative enough to understand the aspirations of people who seek to be free, you can use those very same aspirations to cash in and become an aspect of a bigger capitalist plot to thematically create a space where revolution, where the desire for freedom is nothing but another brand in the aisle of capitalist hope.
Yep.
Killer Mike's Michael is an album of fortuitous intent, incentivized tradition, and it seeps and is soaking in the tradition of what I like to call blackhood as opposed to blackness. It is being black as a kind of unifying force of romantic hope. The hope that we can galvanize our spirit. And you know what the answer of how we do that is? Make more money. Killer Mike is an Afrocentric life coach. He is a cross of what would happen if the shiny aspirations of Rick Ross met the laden poetry of Kendrick Lamar in the body of a single black man who claims to be a leader for the streets and in the very same breath to be a model of black excellence. Key point, black excellence. I cannot explain why we are being duped without explaining why black excellence is a plot. Black excellence is a plot because black excellence doesn't actually create excellent black people. It creates an elite group of rich black folk who have capitalized on the imagery and the aspirations of hope that black people aspire to in order to ingratiate and to amass wealth for themselves. I mean, you know the black excellence speakers. I don't even mention them here. But Killer Mike is another proponent of this brand. A brand that seeks to take the wishes that you, if you're black and you're watching this, have innately in you to deconstruct a system that you know and feel has overwhelmingly been designed to work against people like yourself. Was that a burp?
Yeah.
Oh man, that was a beer burp. I'm sorry, I couldn't do this Killer Mike review without, a little bit of inebriation. Because y'all scare me. But on a different issue, Killer Mike represents a politics that is there to do nothing but amass the wealth for a few people. Even with his black quote-unquote bank,
yeah.
even with the activism that he does, all of it is a performative show to create the image of a man who sees his black radicality as an entrepreneurial scheme. Don't take it from me. Listen to the album. Killer Mike says many times on this album the reason why he has haters is because he makes more money than them. So ultimately, every critique that has been brought towards Killer Mike about his politics, about where he stands in terms of the structure of how capitalism as a structure downpresses the livelihood of black people, creates designations of social death where black people are the ones who are supposed to suffer the brunt of being the labor force of capitalism. Killer Mike does not address that. Killer Mike addresses the romanticism of rags to riches, the romanticism of being black in the hood and being black in the boardroom, the romanticism of having to run past the challenges to reach the ultimate goal. What is the ultimate goal? According to Killer Mike, according to Jay-Z, and according to the majority of rap music today, it is wealth. It is capitalistic supremacy. It is being a capitalist nigga. Killer Mike has become one of the focal capitalist niggas of our time. And this is the very reason he won the Grammy. Because he manages to package a message which convinces black people that all they need to do to get out of their struggles is try and make more money. And he does this to a beautiful symphony of motivational rap, pro-black posturing, and ultimately Hotep adjacent politics, which speaks to the whole brandish a kind of ancestral romance by downpressing Christianity speak to interpersonal issues while not addressing the larger systematic issue. That's all this is. So in other words, Michael is a sonically sublime album which only wins because its politics fit very neatly into capitalism. This is the reason why To Pimp a Butterfly was such a success. Ironically, this is also the reason why Common's Electric Circus never won a Grammy. This is also the reason why projects by Tribe Called Quest or Arrested Development never won Grammys, because they have all the black politics with the needed radical impetus to actually not be a part of the capitalist system. Now here's that for a change. What Killer Mike is doing is not a new phenomenon. Rap music is littered with projects that have been love letters to black people. Funk, jazz, blues, rock, all meshed into an experience that seeks to break the schizophrenia and transcend into a place where the mode of blackness can find itself in a livable place. This is not a new project. Some artists try to do it in a way that speaks vehemently against the man. Some artists might be smart enough, quote unquote, to do it in a way which fits right neatly into what capitalism expects. Killer Mike is that. Therefore, winning the Grammy over projects which might have been more musically astute, like Travis Scott's Utopia, projects which might have been more risque, projects which might have been more relevant to the dominant youth culture, is a reflection of the fact that the reason Killer Mike won this Grammy is the reason every other artist wins a Grammy. They speak to the voices of the white people who run the Grammys. Going into Jay-Z's speech. Jay-Z is a black billionaire who no longer speaks for the experience of black people. He speaks for his own unique position of trying to navigate capitalism to the highest level. Indeed, Jay-Z is the very same person who claims capitalist is just a term created as a slur. Come on, Hov. Read a little. Educate yourself. Inform yourself. Capitalist is real. So as a result, Jay-Z whining over his wife missing out on a lot of categories that she should have won is a reflection of what I've spoken to for different reasons. Beyonce's legacy would have been more furnished and illustrious had she won all those best album categories. But no, the Grammys are so white that they would pluck out obscure artists, insert Taylor Swift, insert all these other artists, above Beyonce, only to prevent a grassroots influence growth of what they know would happen if they let Beyonce win the category. Maybe that's another episode. My point being that Jay-Z's rant doesn't speak in the same breath of what I'm speaking to. Jay-Z is a rich black man speaking on behalf of his wealth. I am a poor black podcaster, YouTuber, speaking, as a matter of fact, pleading for you to try and understand the politics of what the Grammys and every other award ceremony truly are. A gentleman's club of rich elites who only seek to accept the artists that make the most money for them. Therefore, to celebrate a Grammy win is to celebrate a victory for capitalism. So me, I'm done with the Grammys, I'm done with the Samas.
The Sahas.
I'm done with the Sahas. Whatever ha. Mahalahalaha, Mahadakadakas. whatever gahas, lahas, jahas, stakas, gakas that you have. I'm down with all those acronyms. Because what they are elitist systems that try to exploit the values that ground roots people have only to amass their own wealth. When I was a kid, I used to watch award ceremonies with glee because I believed the artists that won were the artists that really deserved it. Today I have a more cynical outlook, and that is the fact that the artists that win are the artists that serve the interests of the business that cashes in on our own oppression. And some of these artists are not doing it intentionally. They're not making music to try and bring black people down. I mean, they're just making, formulaic party music that they know will be safe for them to make money. But that is being complicit in the capitalist project. Is that bad? Is that good? That is another episode. But I'm not here to judge the morality or the ethics of artists. I'm just here to call a spade. And the tool that is the Grammy Awards, the Sama Awards, or any other awards ceremony is here to create an exclusive right to elitism for artists to feel that they have earned the acceptance of the higher ups, of the most powerful people in the industry. Therefore, Killer Mike's victory, what does it mean for hip-hop? Nothing at all. What does it mean for capitalism? Everything. Because it means that blackness is truly a branded experience where our aspirations have been reduced to the marketplace. So if Jill Scott Heron said the revolution will not be televised, we're in different times. Not only is it televised, it's awarded, it's marketed, it's on social media, it's got merch with it, so you best believe that the revolution is now a product.